Now, in the midst of all this stuff with Okada wrestling for AEW, Jim, I don't know how much of this you saw, and I don't have anything in front of me. I could see what we could find, but word went around that the press in Tokyo, I forget the specific newspaper, was reporting that Okada signed a deal worth, I think, $4.5 million a year with AEW.
Yes, it was said to be $13 or $13.5 million over 3 years, which would translate to $4.5 million a year. I saw this, and then I saw people immediately trying to sources say that's exaggerated and walking it back. Because let's face it, for the newspapers, the sports press in Japan to be reporting that, it's kind of like when Pro Wrestling Illustrated reported that there was a $100,000 bounty on Dusty Rhodes' head, right? You can't take that seriously because instantly everybody was laughing like, well, no wonder the WWE wasn't in any way competitive with that. That's, but
that's a good thing. But that's a good thing for AEW, for wrestlers to think that Tony's really throwing just stupid money around.
No, it's not.
Because he is. He really is throwing stupid money around. They'll do it.
They know that already, but can you imagine with about 5 or 6 of those fucking guys that think that their goddamn shit doesn't stink, if they would hear that this guy's coming in and can't even fucking do promos, is going to be making 2 or 3 times as much money as that, whatever. No, it wouldn't do very good for locker room morale if this fucking guy got $13 million in 3 years. Now,
see, I don't think it's that. Yeah, I don't think it's as outrageous as other people do just because of Tony Khan. He's coming in there, he's making it a minimum $1 million.
I'm agreeing with it. Probably maybe a couple of million because Tony's a complete idiot.
So that's the baseline. Plus, Tony probably gave maybe
a couple of these other morons are making a couple $1 million too. Moxley, I'm sure, is making a couple $1 million to go out there and take a shit in the ring.
At least.
So, but can you imagine the plumber's head exploding if he heard that Okada and believed that Okada was making twice as much as he was per year or whatever? Point being, we know that Tony is ridiculously throwing money at these people, and that's another reason why you seem to think that the WWE was more interested in both Ostrich and Okada than I did, because I didn't think they would be that serious about it, because I knew that it's Tony Khan's wet dream to be able to give his ever-dwindling pool of fans more shit to jerk off about. And that would be this. And he was going to pay them much more than the WWE ever would as a legitimate business investment in 2 talents.
See, I agree with that part, but I did think WWE had an interest in him, a heavy interest. I don't think they were going to pay this kind of money, and they'll pay that kind of money to get you to return to the company if you've proven yourself. They're not throwing that kind of money at someone who's an unproven entity who, I hate to say it because I think both guys are really good, and I think both guys are main eventers, but may or may not be sent to NXT for a brief period of time if they sign. So it's a completely different world. Will Ospreay has spoken glowingly about Tony Khan because you could tell it's changed his life. It's changed his lifestyle. It's changed everything. And that's the Tony Khan advantage now. When one of these guys comes up for free agency before WWE locks him down for a 5-year deal, Tony could say, I'll pay you double what they'll pay you. I'll guarantee it. And you'll barely work. And if you feel like, you have a headache, you could stay home. And I'll fly you wherever you want to go, and it'll be first class. And if you want to go to any football games, I'll hook you up. You got to talk to me every now and then. I'm all right. I'm a little wired, but I mean well.
And instead of going to Japan and spending 2 weeks there, a month there, whatever, and getting beat up, it's a whole lot easier to fly from the United States to or England or vice versa. And, yes, that's what I'm saying. The problem is, every time he buys a brand new gadget that works wonders at its chosen application, he doesn't know how to use the thing and he can't read the directions. And it ends up being just another gadget in a drawer somewhere that nobody uses anymore.
Here's another interesting thing to think about, considering Barry Bloom is the agent for a lot of these guys like Jericho, the Bucks, Omega, I think, Jim Ross. Do any of these guys have a most favored nations clause. Because that was one of his big things. And I'm, all for that. Especially if it's on my behalf.
Yeah.
I'm all for an MFN. But do any of these guys have that? Because, at some point soon, Jericho may start getting nosy, but we're not there
Jericho.
yet.
Well, there you go, because he's the most experienced. And that's how Nash and Hall not only got a couple of raises with a favored nations clause in their contract in WCW in the day, but they also had to be asked to waive that when they brought Bret Hart in, right, in order to do the Bret Hart deal, because
that's right. I think
Bischoff wasn't going to raise them to what Bret Hart was making plus $1 or whatever. So they had to waive their right for that. And that can be, that's the next thing Tony will get into, and it'll cost him a fucking fortune once these guys figure that out. Oh, boy. Well, Brian, if only there was some way that Tony Khan could save some money. Because it's spin. That's all. It's all going out. It's not coming in. He's pooping more than he's eating. That's not healthy. Because sooner or later you'll run out of poop. I'll tell you what, folks, if you want to keep
talking about,
that's, think about it. If you poop more than you eat, sooner or later, it's bad news.
Well,
you're expunging more than you're intaking.
Isn't that impossible then?
Well, that's another reason why it would be bad. But folks, I'll tell you what. See, there's all kinds of, you're proving my point. But if there was some way that Tony could save some money, I got an idea. A man like him, successful businessman, he's always making deals. He's always talking to the announcers about making matches. He's always on the phone. I bet you that Tony Khan, thanks to those people at Big Wireless, well, he's paying a fortune for his phone plan, his cell phone plan, his talk plan, his text plan, his data plan, all the plans he's got.
Hey, beyond that, all of his employees, all the employees of the Jaguars, the team probably picks up the bill for their corporate cell phone.
There you go.
That's a lot of money.
That's a ton of money. Can you imagine? Because a lot of these bills, they're $100 a month or more. Well, imagine that times 10 or 20 or 50 or 100. Why, you see, Tony could literally make a profit on AEW right now by having all of his employees and related hoi pollois switching over to Mint Mobile, because Mint Mobile offers premium wireless for $15 a month. And it's not just where you can talk on the phone. Oh, no, contraire. You can actually text with this thing, like the kids do with their thumbs. They type onto the phone, and at the other end of it, people get a written message. You can be a part of that now, ladies and gentlemen, with Mint Mobile. And there's something called high-speed data. I'm not sure what the data is on, whether it's a dossier on individuals stolen from the FBI or whether they're just telling you what the weather report is. But if you want data, they'll give it to you quick, high speed. And it's the nation's largest 5G network. What is that, Brian? What does the G's? Is that a 5 gig network? Is this where the gigs come in?
That is where a gig comes in. That and John Moxley's forehead.
Well, see, they've got 5 of them. Moxley has more than that. Folks, with Mint Mobile, you can choose from a 3-month plan, a 6-month plan, or a 12-month plan and say goodbye to your monthly phone bill and say hello to, I guess, a phone bill that comes every 3, 6, or 12 months. But you say goodbye, I say hello, because at Mint Mobile, they give you the best rate whether you're buying for one or a family. Remember, the family plan starts at 2 lines. So I guess that could be for your significant other. Maybe you're a single parent and your family only consists of 2 people. You get a phone for both of you.
Hey, you know what?
You're not limited at 2. You can get, like, if you have the Brady Bunch, you can get 18 phones.
For the listeners having affairs, this is a wonderful way to get your mistress a custom number, a custom phone, a new phone, a phone line, something you'll pay for, something I'm trying to say.
There you go, a Mint Mobile mistress.
There you
Folks,
go.
If you sign up right now for $15 a month, you get premium wireless and a regular blowjob on the side.
Well, no, you can't guarantee that. Now you're going too far. We could joke about it, but you can't guarantee that.
You might have to take Mint Mobile to dinner first. And you can use your own phone number with any Mint Mobile plan. Keep that same phone number and the same phone. You actually get nothing. They just tell you, go ahead and do everything you've been doing. We'll take care of everything else.
But it's a great deal.
Well, of course it is, because it's just $15 a month. Your first 3 months of premium wireless service, starting at just $15 a month, are available now, and you can get the plan shipped to your door for free. They'll write out the whole plan, send it to you, and you can read it and take it from there. MintMobile.com/JCE. If you sign up for your first 3 months, it's going to be $15 a month. MintMobile.com/JCE. Additional taxes, fees, and restrictions may apply, but some of the rules don't apply to you. See Mint Mobile for details.
That's right. See Mint Mobile for details. They support us. You should support them. One more time, what's that promo code, Jim?
Well, we're supporting all of each other. MintMobile.com/JCE for the incredible financial deal that can save Tony Khan from bankruptcy and ruin. You'd hate to see a man like that out on the street selling pencils on the corner.
Imagine the hero he would be to his father if he came into the office one day, into the boardroom, and said, "Dad, it's so nice to see you here on shore once again. I have in my hand documentation I could save us millions of dollars with Mint Mobile."
But then he'd say to him, but son, you said you were going to run this big wrestling company, and all you're doing is spending your inheritance. Why should I believe you now?
Dad, I'm doing my best.